Hello, and welcome to another edition of On the Record. We'll be hearing several newly released recordings of classical music and hear them evaluated by our panel of distinguished critics. On this program, we have with us Mr. Gerhard Abskonski of the New York Daily Urinal and Mr. Hubert Puce of the Los Angeles Bladder. We'll begin with an excerpt from a new recording of Ravel's Bolero by the Cleveland Symphony Orchestra under the direction of Glyford Zinn. Comments, gentlemen. We'll start with you, Mr. Abskonski.
Well, I'll have to say right off that I don't think the conductor, Mr. Zinn, has any understanding of the work at all. In fact, I highly doubt whether he's even bothered to look at the score. This is one of the most pathetic excuses for a bolero I've heard since the 1952 arrangement for a tuba quartet. In my opinion, this record ought to be melted down for a toilet seat.
Mr. Puce, would you agree with that assessment?
With respect to my esteemed colleague, that opinion isn't worth a flatulent bag of balderdash. Any pick-faced twit can see that this is one of the most vibrant performances since the 1925 recording by Sir Balls Beecham. This performance has a piquant vivacity, which is matched only by its remorseless perspicaciousness.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. For our second selection, Günter Huss conducts the chorus and orchestra of Radio Leipzig in the Erbarmedisch from the German Requiem by Brahms.
Love is mine, whether it's rain or storm or shine. Mine, you are mine, never another Valentine, and I am yours. Tell me that I'm yours. Show me that smile my heart adores.
Mr. Abskonski, your evaluation of this recording?
This is an absolute delight. This performance is provocatively imbued with a formal simplicity, held in check by an unwavering sense of expostulation, tonally speaking. I can't help but be reminded of Dogbert Engelbert's classic 1918 recording, yet at the same time infused with a zeal of impetuous elegance, and though I may be accused of overlooking some minor aspects of bar-to-bar continuity, its overall orchestral fabric is far and away given over to the, if I may say, the post-Wagnerian overtones in its percussive organization. Yes. And even if posterity will permit...
Yes, thank you, Mr. Abskonski. Mr. Puce, your opinion.
Well, painful as it may be, I must agree with my colleague on at least one or two initial points. But I'd also like to point out my marked enjoyment of the soprano section here. And on the record jacket, a particularly handsome group of female representatives, I must say. Particularly enchanting. Especially the one-third from the left in the tight...
Moving on to the final selection for this program, Helmut Beans performs on the great organ of St. Agnes in the Wall Cathedral of Winnemucca, Nevada. We'll hear Bach's great Prelude and Fugue in G minor. Mr. Abskonski.
I see you've saved the best for last. I found this an extremely powerful performance. Such intensity. The vibrato was overwhelming. I find myself simply shaken to the very foundations by this performance. Oh, dear. I seem to have wet the chair.
Yes, that's all right, Mr. Abskonski. Someone will be in later to clean it up.
Well, with all due respect to my esteemed colleague, who should certainly know better, only a git-nosed, polymorphous, geezer-legged, boil-popping, hippo-eared dung barfer could find anything commendable in this positively prostituted desecration of the great Johann Sebastian Bach's sublime prelude and fugue in G minor. If I may say, this is a work I myself have performed many times during my years at the conservatory, and for that reason I suppose it's possible that I may be overcritical. But I was not amused by this horrid performance of one of my favorite works.
Gentlemen, I must confess we've played a little trick on you, inadvertently. That last selection we heard was not Bach's Prelude and Fugue in G minor, as I had announced. It was, in fact, Bach's Prelude and Fugue in C-sharp minor. My apologies to you both.
Well, that's